Hello guys, and welcome back to Rise of Prussia with the Second Silesian War with our Prussian campaign here. We're nearing very close to the end. We can win this in 2 turns, assuming we maintain control of Prague, which at the moment is surrounded by enemies with a meager garrison to protect it. And if we can make sure that Brunn stays in our hands, which is currently being threatened by a number of Austrian brigades to the south. That's going to be the easier part to defend. Prague's going to be a bit more difficult to try to defend. And then up to the northwest here, we have just lost control of Dresden because the game decided to fuck us over in an event that it didn't warn me was coming. Took Leipzig from me as well, and moved my stack that was ready to march on Hal all the way to Torgau. So it kind of fucked me over. I do have Leopold going to try to take Dresden. He'll get there in 2 turns. And I have the Sonderkorps going to Hal. He'll get there next turn, and hopefully what I have will be enough. Because if we can survive 2 more turns without losing Prague, if nothing else comes to surprise me by Brunn, then we're good. If we lose Prague, then that's going to really complicate things. I've already done this turn last episode, so we're going to go to the next turn, and ooh. Okay, so we have arrived in Prague. Unfortunately, we were not able to avoid entering combat. I did put us to evade combat, however. So we've entered Prague, and we're getting into a fight against the enemies, which are, I guess, besieging Prague. Some of them are across the river and are entering from the other side, basically, to try to help. But I'm not very optimistic, let's just say. Looks like there's lots of casualties being lost on the assault. And unfortunately, it looks like losses on both sides are pretty even, which is a really bad sign for how the rest of this is going to go. Especially since this is Frederick. This is my best stack. Of course, he's outnumbered like crazy at the moment, but there isn't much I could have done to change this. What the hell just happened? Did their main stack just leave combat? Did their main stack just lose so much cohesion he had to run away? What the fucking hell? What am I looking at right now? Okay, no. So we ran away. We're the ones that left. This is a brutal battle, guys. I haven't seen anything like it. So they didn't have much of any entrenchment. We still had our entrenched units inside of Prague to help us. Oh, God. It has so many breaches in it. Oh, we lost 5,000 men. That's a lot of troops considering we had only 29,000 between our forces there. Most of these coming from Frederick's stack. We lost elements galore. I've never seen this many elements lost on my side. Took 292 hits to the enemy's 528 hits. So at the very least, as we can see, they lost a lot more elements than we did. They lost almost 2 times the amount of men that we did. About the same amount of horses. But they have way more men than we do. They have over twice the men we do. The fact that they didn't lose more than twice the men we did means that this is not a sustainable encounter. It is a Prussian victory, yet we were the ones chased out and put into the defensive. The enemy has... Oh no, we have chased the enemy here with Kurt, and we have engaged him. And it looks like it's going pretty well. Yep, only 567 men lost, 122 horses to his 2,341 men. Only suffered 37 hits to his 142. That's really nice. That is really, really nice. Okay, cool. We outnumbered him like crazy, so, you know, that could play a part in it. But he's now going to be recovering at Krems for the time being. That's good, at least. I'm glad we managed to finally engage him and deal some good damage. Now, over here lies the issue. Wow. We had another stack here. We had a commander with a certain amount of units, but I think he's dead. I don't see him. Yeah, no. I just have Frederick here. We had another group here, but they're gone. Unfortunately, all this structure damage was done in the fighting. Einsadel's still alive with his fort batteries, but that won't stand a chance against what's defending this place. Frederick's army is still doing all right. As you can see, his power is still pretty high up there. But all in all, it's not the best. It's not the best. It's not enough to drive these enemies away, at the very least. Wow. Marwitz. It was Marwitz. Marwitz's army is completely gone. Marwitz and his remaining units have died. I don't know how to feel about that. I really don't know. We're in a really not good situation here. We have arrived outside of Hal, and it's barely defended, guys. Hal is barely defended. We are going to assault it, and they shouldn't be able to stop us. Level 1 fort, only 18 power, bare minimum garrison defending it. The nearest enemy force isn't even bordering us, so there's no way they could get involved in just one day. As for Dresden, we're still on the way there. We're still marching through with Leopold's army here, which seems to have, yeah, it has a little bit of cohesion problems, unfortunately. Not much I can really do about that. And we're not actually set there to, we're not set to arrive there next turn anymore. We're not even set to arrive in Pirna camp next turn. God damn it. We've been slowed down somehow, unfortunately, so while we will take Hal this turn, Dresden is now more like 2 turns out rather than just 1 more turn. Well, never mind what I said about Marwitz, because I found Marwitz and I found someone else, and I found them through here. Karl and Marwitz, blamed for suffering a defeat before the enemy. They have new seniority, so they just got their asses kicked so bad they lost all their troops, and they were just kicked down to Tabor, and they're locked. Yeah, they're fixed in the region. So I guess that means they died and then that they were respawned. Maybe that's what it was. I'd imagine that's what that would mean. I don't actually know. I wasn't familiar if units did respawn or not in this game. So what I'm going to do with Kurt here is I'm going to move him south to Korenberg, and then I'm going to move him west to Krems. Not because I want to keep making an offensive down here. Really, I actually don't. But I can't leave Brunn just to the mercy of this army. This army could definitely take Brunn. So I'm going to send him this way so he doesn't have to cross a river. His cohesion may not be as well off after this, but he'll arrive. He'll probably engage the army at Krems. I don't know. I could just cross the river and do that. Like, his army doesn't really stand a chance against mine. Yeah, I mean, fuck it. I guess I'll just cross the river, target him just in case so he doesn't get away, at the very least. We'll attack him, we overpower him, we outnumber him. There should be no way that he should be able to stop us, at the very least. I want to neutralize this threat. I have 8 turns remaining. I want to neutralize this threat, because if I can, then I can move him back up to Prague. That could take me 2 more turns. By that point, we'd be looking at maybe 5 turns remaining, hopefully. And then we could rest for a moment somewhere, get back our supplies, maybe go stop by Tabor first. That's pretty close to Prague. And then do what we need to make sure we hold on to Prague. Or retake it if worse comes to worse, while we're still aiming to take Dresden, and hopefully we will have secured Hal. Randomly, we've gotten an event to get Prussian light infantry trained up. It's pretty cheap, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. We have plenty of elite infantry, but I believe that's because, yeah, we were recruiting only, I don't know how we got that many, actually. I'm just going to throw another one into recruit. Line infantry, we actually have, like, none of, so I'm going to go ahead and just do that. Alright, that's all I can afford, so we're going to go to requisitions here. Oh, we're out of requisitions in these locations, too. Alright, time to move on to some new locations. 1, 2, 3. Just to make sure, we got to keep up with these reinforcements. We're actually losing elements now, so it's more important now than ever. Even though just a few turns ago I was saying, yeah, it's less important now than ever. It doesn't really matter at this point. I don't want to repeatedly throw myself at Prague, honestly, especially with the kinds of damage that a lot of these units are taking. I don't want to repeatedly do that, but at the same time, I've been saying for so many turns they can't be maintaining their supplies. They must be running out of ammo, but clearly they're not running out fast enough. But at the same time, if I don't throw myself at Prague, then I risk losing Prague. The force that's there cannot hold. It's just 2 fort batteries and a single fusilier force. There's no way that can hold. The best I could do is just repeatedly throw Frederick at the enemy and hope for the best. Alright, so that's about it for this turn, so we're going to go ahead and hit next turn and cross our fingers that, at the very least, Frederick's army doesn't get slaughtered trying to move back into Prague. We've gone ahead and assaulted Hal, and it's fallen easily as expected. That doesn't look good. Unfortunately, they've assaulted Prague. It was only defended by Einstadel and a small force of cannons and fusiliers, which I believe means that Prague has fallen. That's not good. Alright, well, Frederick has arrived in Prague, and there's a small fight starting outside of Prague, because we've gone on the offensive and there was some enemies outside of it, but now the enemies inside of it are coming out of it to fight Frederick. Oh man, this is not what I wanted to happen. This is gonna be hard to get back. This is the bulwark of their forces. This is their main fighting force here, and it's kicking my main fighting force's ass for the time being. Ooh, man. Our numbers have gone down severely. Theirs have as well, but I think it's just because some of their units are getting out of the fight. I think a lot of our units just routed as well. They seem to be taking losses faster than us, but... okay, so that's a hell of a battle. They've lost way more elements than we have again, taking 686 hits to our 335. We engaged with 20, almost 3,000 men. None with fortifications, they were half fortified. 9,199 horses, 144 cannons. We're outnumbered in every way. We lost 5,330 men, 906 horses. Our fighting force is a fraction of what it has been at this point. They lost 12,172 men, 3,398 horses lost. That's amazing, quite frankly. The problem is, Frederick at the moment doesn't have the forces needed to win this battle. Despite how much damage we've done, Frederick does not have the forces to win the battle. We have small Saxon forces now running around, seemingly trying to get behind our lines and popping up in Saxony in general. We now own Hal, at the very least, so that's good. So we've gotten a event here. Maria Theresa and August III agreed to reinforce their alliance and fight their common enemy till the end. August III is preparing an invasion of Brandenburg. That doesn't sound good. I have to look up who August III is. So apparently, August III is the leader of Poland and Lithuania. That's not good. At this point, I have not much choice except to take Frederick and go run him south and stick him into Tabor, where there is a depot and a chance for him to rest and recuperate. As much as it pains me to do that. He's lost too many elements. He's just not effective enough of a fighting force at the moment to retake Prague by himself. I'm going to have to try some trickery here in order to get this all to go the way I want. So I'm going to assault Krems right now this turn. I'm going to take it, and then Kurt will have the rest of the turn to basically recuperate, as this set of brigades here has fled south to Vienna, and I don't believe he will head north while Kurt is here. The winter is coming, which is worrying. It's late September, but this campaign looks like it's going to end during the winter. Therefore, I need to change up my plan, as I said. So, I am going to take this brigade. No. Yes. Which one's more powerful? Okay, so I'm going to take this brigade right here, and I'm going to leave it. You know what? I don't like that. I'm going to leave this brigade here. I'm going to toss it into Hal here. It's only a single brigade. It's not much to worry about. It only has fusiliers. It's something to have the enemy Saxon force pay attention to maybe avoid losing Hal too quickly. And the problem is, to get to Dresden from here with this force is a bit of a bitch, because he's in my way. So, it's 13 days if I cross the river here, 13 if I cross the river here. So I'm going to cross the river like this, and we're going to go down to Dresden, and we're going to assault it the moment we get there. Hopefully that means we will end up taking Dresden this turn. I'm doing this because Leopold is deactivated, thus he will be ready. Who the fuck knows when? Who knows when he's going to be ready at this point? Leopold's just being retarded. I'm thinking of sending him down south again, but at the moment we are in our own territory, and these supplies up here should be reaching us. I'm just going to sit him still to recover his cohesion, and then he's going to start heading down to Prague. By the time he's heading down to Prague, Kurt should be ready to head up to Prague. By the time they get anywhere near it, we'll only have probably 3 or 4 turns left. Frederick should hopefully be reinforced by that point, and I can converge these doom stacks onto Prague and hopefully wipe the enemies out before any major damage comes, basically. A lot of our line infantry have finished this turn, so we have tons of line infantry right now. I'm going to go ahead and just throw some more into the recruitment pool because, again, we're burning through elements, and the more we have, the sooner that Frederick can recuperate his losses. Let's see here. Let's go to requisitions, and we're going to have to spam some requisitions again just to make sure we keep up with everything that we need to keep up with. That seems to be our entire turn, though, so let's move it on to the next turn. This is on the edge of like a thread, this whole campaign, ending with all the objectives that we need to win. I saw the Saxons moving towards Hal. That's not good. Or at least moving in the direction of it. That was the assault on that little town, by the way. It was really insignificant. I was distracted by the Saxons. We did reach Dresden, and we have opened the assault. It's a Prussian victory. They had 1,160 men, 48 cannons. They didn't lose all of it, but I don't know if we did enough to take the location. Okay, we did. We took Dresden. We have Hal. We have Dresden. For now. Big for now on that. Our forces are recuperated, funny enough. There are some Saxons. What the hell? What is this? Why is there a Saxon unit here? I don't know. We got a fort battery from them. I'm just going to toss that into Dresden. Now we need to leave a unit at Dresden, so let's split this up. Because it is an objective, and that's how objectives work. Yes, I made sure to keep... Yeah, okay. Great. So now we have to retake Prague. How am I going to do that? So I've got Kurt on force march, sending him to Tabor to meet up with Frederick, who's recovering pretty nicely. He's already covered a couple thousand troops, and we still have more elements that we can basically send around if we need to. I'm going to probably be leaving my main forces on passive just to ensure that they get what they need to before we go. I've gone ahead and placed down my requisitions for the turn. I got to still place down my recruitment. Come on, tell me where I can recruit. Logau. And over here, I'm sending the Sonderkorps to Leipzig since he stepped off of them. Not going to assault it this turn. I don't want to accidentally get into a fight with this army. So, I mean, if we do, we do. So long as we keep him off Hal. But if I can take Leipzig while he goes after Hal, I wouldn't really mind that. That way I can kind of keep skirmishing with him back and forth. Maybe distract him, get him to go other places. I don't know. I've left a Fusilier behind with the fort battery. And other than that, we're just resting and recovering and waiting to make one massive lunge at Prague, for which we have 6 turns left to make while holding everything else. We've taken Krems, which is not very important, and these brigades are still in Vienna, and hopefully they just don't move forward. It is currently early October. It's about to be late October. We have probably 2 turns, realistically, before the winter shows up. We have more turns than that before we start feeling any of the effects of the winter. But this is going to end in the winter. There's nothing we can do to stop that. We just got to make sure that when the winter comes around, we win. That's what we're trying to accomplish here. I'm hoping he just steps off Prague, you know? Like, wouldn't that be great if he just left Prague? Alright, unfortunately, he is assaulting Hal upon arrival. So I can guess how this is going to go. I was hoping he wouldn't be so ballsy, but there you go. Now Prague is once again the least of my problems, but, oh man, like he's outnumbered like 10-1. Fortifications or not, there's just no way he's surviving this. This game's like, how can I make your life as stupidly difficult as I possibly can in as little time as I possibly can? Prussian defeat, I'm sure we just lost Hal. Some of the units are leaving. Some of the units are going somewhere else, but not the main force. We have arrived at Leipzig Fortress, and we've attacked whatever force was outside of it, defending it. And that's the end of the turn. Unfortunately, most of these troops are still at Prague. Our force march succeeded, actually, so we've gotten a lot closer than we otherwise would have, and our cohesion, aside from one artillery unit, is actually doing pretty damn well. Let's check out the LB army here. So, it's looking a lot better. It's recovered another like 4,000 men. Holy son of a bitch. Why are you what's happening here? Oh, Marwitz. Marwitz, get out of here, Marwitz. Don't hold me back. Don't hold me back, Marwitz. Unfortunately, Frederick is deactivated right now. As rare as that is. I want to get close, but I don't want to get too close. So this is still within the range of Tabor. I don't want to have to march too far to start an assault the following day. 5 days to get here, 3 days to get here. I don't want to get too close because I do want to encourage him to leave if he's going to, but I want to make sure we're right next to each other so that we can march together as one cohesive unit. Frederick's power is actually back up to 4,214 despite not having a full amount of units, which is pretty surprising. Between these two armies, we have 6 artillery pieces, which will hopefully be ready come any upcoming battle. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to risk it, and I'm going to keep them both on passive just to ensure maximum recovery before the time to assault has arrived. Looks like Leopold has fully recovered finally. That's good. So we're going to march him down, but not too far down, I guess. We can get there in 7 days. We can get there in, what? 7 days still. Huh, alright. This is next door to both of these locations, which isn't the best. But let's go ahead. I'm just going to march 4 days down to Budin. We're going to capture the lines as we go. And then we're just going to sit there and we're going to wait. And next turn probably will come the assault because 5 days to get here. How long to get here? 15. That's another... Is that really another 10 days? Are you fucking kidding me? God damn. Alright, what... For you, it's 12. You're moving faster. He moves slower. Okay. What if I did the real ballsy thing and just went literally all the way over here? You'd be impassive. So unless they head south, this literally, it wouldn't go necessarily bad. We'd be 1 tile away from our attack. That would be inevitable. And some of their troops have left. Like this Saxon force with a number of brigades has moved on to Carlsbad, which is only good for us. Oh boy, what are we looking at here? So let's put you like this. Leipzig isn't an important place. We've captured Fort Battery here. We'll put it in Sentry and stick it in there. Oh, we've actually taken Leipzig. They surrendered to us. I didn't see that coming. So interesting news. He actually has not taken the location yet. Hal is still in our control. It's almost out of our control. The cohesion of the unit defending it is barely anything. He's lost half of his men. If he attacks again, it's only going to go one way. I can send the Sonder Corps there. I can even try to force march it, but what's that really going to do? 4 days? Does it change? Does it even fucking change from 4 days? No, it does not. It's 4 days one way or another. Well, okay. I guess I'll force march my way over there and try to enter upon arrival. The only way this is going to go well is if he doesn't assault this turn. Otherwise, I don't know how poorly this could end for us, but it's not going to be the greatest situation. We're not going to assault it upon arriving, and that's my way of trying not to get slaughtered. I just want to arrive there, enter the location, maybe cause a battle outside just to hold Hal, and maybe chase the guy away. I don't know. We have Saxons moving through other parts of Saxony, getting close to some of our strategic objectives, but I don't think they're strong enough to do any game-ending damage to us or anything like that. I believe we have all of our moves here. Except I haven't recruited anything, so let's make sure to do that, even though we're basically out of time. Let's just make sure things are recruiting. Let's get the requisitions going, I guess. Here, you take a requisition, you take a requisition, and you take a requisition. And with that, there's not much else to do but hit end turn. Alright, so we have arrived in Lubutz, and there were some Saxons waiting for us here, apparently. We've ended up in a battle. Labasitz here. There were some Austrians chilling out here, some partisans, some skirmishers. Interesting. I wasn't expecting to see that, but we ran into them and we got into a battle. So that happened. I wasn't expecting that. Oh, aha, what? Oh, all numbers of things are happening. Well, we have arrived outside of Hal, and we have engaged the enemy in a battle that definitely does not favor us. But on the bright side, if we do enough damage to his force, his cohesion, it may delay him from actually assaulting the city of Hal. And if we can delay his assault on the city of Hal, maybe we can hold the city of Hal. The battle did not go well for us. We were outnumbered. You can read these numbers if you want. We lost 2,500 men. They lost 1,500 men, a little past that, 1,600. We took more hits than they did, 155 to 102, because they were fortified. We were not. And there's nothing special about this army. And we were outnumbered. Leopold has encountered the main Austrian force, which has actually stepped off of Prague. It's stepped off of Prague, guys. The main Austrian force has stepped off of Prague and gone west after Leopold. And while Leopold doesn't stand a chance against it, that really shakes things up, and maybe we can retake Prague without even having to fight the main Austrian force. If Leopold got completely wiped out, so long as he actually kept these guys distracted, Leopold may just win the game for us by getting his ass kicked. That's what I'm hoping. Because I need one more turn, right? I need one more turn where Hal does not get assaulted successfully. And I need to just be able to step on Prague and successfully assault it in an all-out assault that just decides the game. The losses on our side don't seem to be too greater of a number than the enemies, but it's definitely not going our way. God, I accidentally touched the screen and now it froze. Whoops. Oh, there's the battle results. Amazingly, yeah, it didn't really go against us. We took 536 hits, they took 564. It was pretty even, in fact. They lost way more in elements than we did, but we both lost a little over 9,000 men. They lost 3,500 horses. We lost about 2,000. We had about 30,000 men to their almost 40,000 men. We took a bunch of prisoners, and they took none. This is really interesting. So the enemies are moving up to Krems again. That's something to take note of. The Bavarians never came to help us, despite the game telling me the Bavarians were on my side. Oh god, please don't attack him while he's in passive. Please don't do it. Okay, you're going past him. You're going to Dresden. Are you fucking kidding me? What is happening? What is happening? Okay, guys. I'm skipping the busy work for you on this turn here. The enemy has 3 victory points. Here's our national morales. It all comes down to this turn. There are 4 turns remaining. Believe me when I say it all comes down to this turn. We're sending our 2 largest armies of an unstoppable power level, even if they combined all their forces here, more than likely, to step on Prague. Hal still belongs to us. I'm going to put you on the offensive, actually, so you may assist in Hal if it gets attacked. I'm sending him here. It will take 3 days to get there. He, at the very least, it's just a distraction tactic. Realistically, actually, there's no point to even do this. So long as I stay on the offensive, I have a chance of assisting during a siege. I can hope for the best, but there's no way I'm going to stop it by this point. It all comes down to this turn. Leopold's really just going to sit here because he's too out of cohesion. He can't do anything. This Austrian set of brigades has marched through Krems, retaken it, and to Iglau and taken it, because we've had nothing defending these little cities. They weren't important, in case you're wondering. They're not important. I've placed everything. I've done everything. So let's proceed to the next turn, go into late November. The game might end here. The game might just end right here, depending on how this goes. And hopefully, it goes better rather than worse. We have Austrian forces marching. We have some arriving in Dresden. That's something I was really fearing would happen. Leopold is being engaged in his defensive position in the field by a large Austrian force, but that means they've all left Prague, which means we will likely take Prague. I hope. And hope to God that we don't lose Dresden and that we don't lose Hal. Since Hal hasn't already been assaulted, that means it's not going to be assaulted. If the enemy Austrian leader has actually arrived at Dresden and they haven't assaulted it, that means they're not assaulting it this turn. And here's the results of that battle. About 3,000 men lost on each side. 1,200 horses here to his 1,800 horses. We did lose more elements, however, so it wasn't really a good battle for us. But not much we could really do there anyway. All the Austrians are just marching into Saxony at this point. Oh, man. This is why I said it all comes down to this turn. They're just out of control at this point, and Prussia doesn't have enough units to deal with this at the moment. They've arrived at Pirna camp. I'm sure they're going to take it. And we got it. We got it. Guys, we did it. I must have skipped over the assault on Prague. That or Prague just surrendered. I think Prague just surrendered when we arrived. Guys, holy shit, we actually won. We took all of the victory objectives and we won the game. I don't think you understand. You may, if you've been watching this whole series and you watch these past few episodes, you may understand just how dire this was. In case you don't, let me just point out to you. At any time, Hal could just surrender. At any time. If this force assaults it now, they'd win. They'd take it. Give it one more turn, and the Austrians probably would have assaulted Dresden. Give it any extra turns, and they would have had a lot more forces arriving there. And Hal and Dresden, Torgau, it would be unstoppable. We wouldn't be able to stop them. Apparently, Poland may have invaded us towards the very last turns as well. Only 3 turns remained. Down here, there were Austrians running behind our lines. Olmutz and Brunn, these locations are not well defended. He can take one of these objectives, and with that, we would lose the game if he did it before the final 3 turns. But even then, I'm telling you guys, if we did not take Prague this turn, 3 turns is not enough to salvage it. We would have lost. Or at the very least, we would have gotten a stalemate. But instead, we took Prague, guys. We took Prague, we held Hal, we held Dresden. We have a national morale of 205, the Austrians down to 31. We own every objective city and all but the southeastern most strategic towns. They are in the negatives for victory points, and we have 2,000, almost 400. And that's with us spamming things that use victory points towards the end. 3 turns remaining. We've captured a lot of prisoners of war, and our KDR is basically 2-1. It's a little better than that, but it got pretty bad towards the end. That being said, guys, victory. We won this, but just barely. The start of this campaign made it seem like it would be easier than the first campaign. I thought the Second Silesian War would be a cakewalk compared to the first. The problem was we were waiting on Hal the entire war. And when it finally opened up, it was almost too late. We almost ran out of time. I wonder how that contrasts with how the war actually went in history. I don't know my history on this war. With that being said, oh man, guys, we did it. And with that, we end this campaign. There is going to be a campaign of the main campaign of this game. It's like 170 something turns total. This Third Silesian War, it's a big campaign between like Prussia combined with the UK, Bavaria, some others versus I believe like the HRE, Austria, Russia, France, and all these other names. I may even do a PvP game of that with another YouTuber, depending on how it goes. I may take a little bit of a break before doing that though and post some Power and Revolution instead, so keep an eye out for that. This campaign isn't the longest campaign I've ever done of something, but wow, it got real intense there. It built up, and this last turn was really the climax of the whole thing. I hope you guys have enjoyed this as much as I have. Despite some bugs, this was exciting. Thank you guys very, very much for watching, and I hope I'll see you on some other videos.